Right, what do we have for ourselves here? We've got a diagram. Lots of diagrams on paper too, it seems, eh? Okay, so again, remember, let's just check that everything that's given to us there is in the diagram. It is. There's an X, there's our X, those things are alpha, there's an alpha, there's an alpha. There's a 90 degrees, there it is. Okay, so here's a little hint maybe. Using triangle BEA, so you've got a triangle here. What type of triangle is triangle BEA? Well, it's a right angle triangle. So we know that we can just use our trig ratios straight up. So we've got sine, cos, tan, so, ca, toa. No need to use anything fancy here. Determine B in terms of alpha and X. Well, we've got alpha, we've got a side. What do we have in terms of opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse? And then figure out which of these three trig ratios we're going to use. Show that BD equals that. Okay, so we don't know that yet. So you can't take that and go, okay, well, let's multiply both sides by sine beta. We don't know that. So just in terms of the show that, just as a reminder, that means we don't know that, but if we worked out what BD is, we're probably going to need it in the next question and see. Hence means we're going to use what we just found out. So you need this information to do the next part. So that's why it says show that. So they're giving you, well, we're giving you the answer and excuse me, and then saying, well, use that answer in the next question, but you don't want to be screwed for this question. Screwed, is that a fair thing to say? You'd want to have access to this question. So you're going to show that. So you've got BD. There you need to show that that's something to do with X, sine. Well, hint, we haven't used things like our sine rules yet. So sine. Look, there are two sines. So that almost makes it think like, well, sine alpha and an X. So if we've got, theta and this side, and maybe if we've got another side, and so there's your hint. I'm moving this a little bit more to how you're going to solve it, just give you some ideas of how to get into it. Okay, now once we've got that, so we're going to use this in the next question. Find the area of BED. So this is definitely going to be a more involved question coming our way. So we've got BED. Now in BED, we need to find the area. How do you find the area of any triangle? Well, either half base times height, or we've got this area rule. Yay, hello area rule. There it is. So this could be something that is quite useful. So we're going to be using that area rule. I mean, it makes sense. We've moved into something where we're using sine rule, area rule. Okay, so we're not going for, okay, well, let's go half base times height. Well, then we need to find the base and the height. Well, you could find the height. It's the same as AE. That would probably be quite an interesting way of solving it. But you're basically just going to construct the area rule by doing that. So in terms of all of these things, so it's going to be some long expression by the time you're done, but you know that your starting point is the area rule. So half AB sine C. So when you're looking at this, maybe if you've got, remember the area rule, half AB sine C. So if you're looking at this angle, then you're going to be dealing with the two sides next to it. Now, we've got BE. We've got BD. So therefore, we're probably not going to use this angle, theta, because that would involve these two sides next to it. So instead, and just in terms of how and why we'd use the area rule, similar to the cos rule in a lot of ways, and surprise, with the BC cos A, AB sine C, what I mean by that is we're looking at an angle and the two sides adjacent to it. So we just spent some time finding out that side. That's what this question was. In the first question, we found out something about that side. So if we've got those two sides, it would make sense that if we can use that angle in between it, then we can just use the area rule. It didn't ever ask us about ED. We've got BD, we've got B. So if you can work out that angle, great stuff. Hint, exterior angle of the triangle, same like we had in our test. So you can work out what this is here, and then you can just use your area rule. Going to be a bit of simplification along the way, but just some algebra. But there's kind of an end to the question. Area rule, notice that it's half AB sine C. It's the angle and the two sides next to it. So if you've got these two sides, that angle there. Okay, I think that should maybe help a little bit.